Secret, Joe, is that it may be weird that two guys are talking about Charlie's Angels, but it turns out that we are in fact women, and we have a transcoder like Charlie does to make it sound like we're men.
Give me a moment's peace and take out the trash.
We pay taxes for people to come and take the garbage.
Hey, listen, Greenie, no more sneaking rides to the junkyard. Yeah, man, take a taxi when you want to go to the junkyard.
Welcome to Hot Trash Unlimited, the show where me, Joe,
And me, Caleb,
talk about recent releases in the theater and decide whether or not they are hot trash. Caleb, what did we see this week?
we saw the one, the only, Charlie's Angels.
Hallelujah.
Welcome to the Townsend Agency. We exist because traditional law enforcement can't keep up.
I don't like that, boy.
You guys are like lady spies. Dane's former MI6. Oh, God.
What did you do to Sven?
I compressed his carotid and deoxygenated his brainstem.
Well, that sounds painful.
Don't worry. He's going to wake up.
Unless he doesn't.
This is a franchise that, like, I can respect solely because it's held on arguably for, 4 or 5 decades
40
longer
years.
than it should have.
Yeah. Okay.
And it seems to have not updated much in those 40 years.
I feel like it got a little more stereotypical.
Maybe. It got worse.
It got stereotypical for like each era. Let's be real. Have you seen? I haven't seen the first Charlie's Angel or the 2000 movie with Drew Barrymore.
Oh,
and
I've seen
Lucy
the scene.
Liu.
I've seen the scene with Crispin Glover. It's weird. It's a Crispin
That
Glover
movie is
scene.
straight up like fetish fuel, though.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's-
have
yeah.
you seen the post for it? It's just their butts.
Oh yeah. It's bad.
It's normal 2000 stuff.
Who knows about the 2011 version? That's just lost in the ether as far as we're
It's lost of
concerned.
time.
Did you ever see the 70s
No.
show? I saw an episode here or there, but not enough to like actually know. But it was coming out at a time when like female-led TV was becoming more of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like Mary Tyler Moore show. There's that show about those two female cops that I can't remember the name of.
Rush Hour.
Yeah, Rush Hour. But it seems like it was feeding into kind of a thing at the time. And even while it may not necessarily hold up, it definitely was kind of very zeitgeisty at the time.
Which leads us to 2019's Charlie's Angels, directed by Elizabeth Banks.
Spoilers ahead. I think we should start with the biggest spoiler. Elizabeth Banks should never direct a movie again.
Was she distracted because she had to be in so much of it?
I don't know. I'm just saying I've seen her direct 2 movies, both of which have been terrible.
She did 2 and 3 at Pitch Perfect.
Oh, okay. 3 is a step up from 2, but I like 2 more because I have like positive viewing experiences associated with it. But man, this is a big downgrade from both of those. So wow. Okay.
Caleb, we're just not the audience for it.
Okay. Here's the thing, y'all.
We're going to be saying a lot of stuff that can be taken extremely out of context.
Yeah, this is not a bad movie because it's like aimed towards women or anything like that. This is just a bad movie. However, I'm just saying we were the only people in the theater.
The only 2 people in the big room at the theater.
I have seen pretty big movies in there. That's where like they would show Avengers. Or
I saw
something like
Venom
that.
in a packed theater in there.
Yeah. So we go in, and we are actually on time to see a movie. We actually see it.
We get there.
Week.
Yeah, we go opening week. We get there in time for most of the trailers most of the time.
And we are the only people in here.
And we cheer.
I think 2 very cynical guys are not the target demographic for this.
No, not at all.
Yet we got so much enjoyment out of it.
Mystery Science Theater, that's what this was. This is what me and Caleb do when we're watching a movie in the living room. But we had a theater to ourselves.
For the first, 15 minutes, I kept looking up to make sure there was no one who, snuck in. I mean, they would have made themselves known because we were being loud. Because, my word, we needed something to get us through this movie. Okay, Joe, what is this movie about?
It's a female group of, spies?
Yeah,
I don't know what to call them.
It's like
they're not very secretive.
They're like a nonprofit. They're non-governmental. They're vigilantes, I guess. They catch bad guys.
Yeah,
right?
and it's full of women who are taking down all the evil in the world. Kristen Stewart's legs stars our main character,
and Elizabeth Banks wine momness.
Naomi Scott and Ella. Is that her name? What was it?
person who's not going to have a career after this movie.
Ella Balinska.
Nothing against her. It's just this is her first movie, and so she's kind of doomed to fail.
Yeah, and they're spies, and they're stopping a secret or some tech company that has Calypso that's like self-sustaining energy, but it kills people.
Yeah, this is an excuse to see a bunch of people in outfits that grow increasingly impractical. There's a lot of montage in this.
There's a lot of legs.
There's
Kristen Stewart's legs specifically.
There's a lot of Kristen Stewart's legs. And there's a lot of very poorly shot action. And there's a lot of...
Lord, the editing in that first scene in the coffee bar shop.
Ooh, it was bad. So our characters are Kristen Stewart, who plays like...
Sabina.
Yeah, Sabina.
The dumbest name.
She's like the sassy one, and she does disguises, I get, but they all do disguises.
They all do disguises.
But I think she does the most disguises.
Yeah.
Then there's Jane.
The actiony one. She's the sniper of the group, basically.
Yeah, she's probably the best one because she gets the least amount of dialogue.
She gets the least amount of dumb stuff to talk about.
Then there's
Naomi Scott,
and she is like the Eisen character.
The newbie.
Yeah, she's being brought in, and
Elizabeth
she's
Banks.
annoying. And then there's Elizabeth Banks, who is never trying, but is that also because she's directing herself, or is it because she's phoning this in? I don't know. I like Elizabeth Banks in some things.
Not this.
I feel like we need to go to couples counseling after this because I feel like she put me through 2 hours of a lot of
2 hours?
apathy fueled.
This flew by. It dragged but flew by at the same time.
Well, there's one part that does drag significantly. End of the second act when we are leading into the lowest point of our characters. And so you get that kind of second act finale. It just goes on forever. And part of that is because this action is so bad and it's very hard to
Very
follow.
drawn out. They don't really know how to keep the momentum going a lot of the time.
But part of that is also because I think these characters are driven solely by cheap conflict with little depth beyond that. They try to give Kristen Stewart some, but that's about it.
What's her...
She's rich, and being rich is bad. But
she was rich.
Oh, but she still's rich. This movie is very much rich porn.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, it's all clothes. Like, I feel like this movie's been done before. Like, obviously, Charlie's Angels has been done before, but like recently, I feel like there was this thing.
The Spy Who Dumped Me. I didn't see that. It looked better than
There's
this.
definitely some scene where 3 girls go into a closet. And it's like clothes, but it's also weapons.
If you have 2 TVs and you put Kingsman on one and Ocean's 8 on the other, you basically get this movie. The central problem is that everything here is done competently to a
You just
point.
choked on that word.
Well, I'm thinking because there is that one part where they're introducing like Callisto and what it can do, and it's shot and it's lit so badly, and then all of the editing in this movie. So like, I feel like if you want to go in and you just want to have a fun night out with your friends and
with your boys,
and you don't pay attention to anything,
and you're in an empty theater.
Well, no, because that made me pay attention. I'm trying to come up with the scenario where it's a normal person who goes to a movie and they don't care about this stuff. And it's not bad enough that you would notice it.
Yeah.
But it's bad enough to peek off my radar. And I think it's bad enough to like make this uninteresting to a very fundamental point.
The effects in that first fight with the car chase.
Oh, well, the effects throughout. The explosion.
That explosion ain't great. Most of the stuff's like practical for the most part, I feel like. There's a lot of clear stunt double like switcheroos, but there's not any like bad bodies becoming rubbery.
Like most of the action itself, I think, is practical. But then that just makes the CG stand out. In the first scene, it ends with her flying off in a helicopter. But this helicopter shot, it's like 3 very clear back like elements, right? Like you have the backdrop, which is just like stock city skyline. Then you have CGI helicopter with the Charlie Angels branding on it.
And then you have Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, and then you have Kristen Stewart in front of a green screen, and they're all like nice and pasted on top of each other. And they all look like they're coming out of 3 different dimensions.
And then right before that, you have, what is her name? I need to look it up so I can keep saying it. You have Ella Balinska, Han Solo edit move like super speed onto someone.
I forget about this because it never comes back. I was really hoping it does. If you know, like the first Star Wars where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like just jump to the other side of frame, that's what she does. It looks like low budget speedster effects, and it never comes back, and I'm so disappointed.
She does like a swoop where it's like, whoop, whoop, I'm over here.
This is a movie that is goofy enough, or a premise that's goofy enough, that I am fine with one of the people having like low-level superpowers and no one ever acknowledging it.
Well, her height is her superpower at the end of the day.
She does stand out amongst these
the angels,
these ladies. The plot I'm not sure if it makes no sense or if it's just so in the background that
it just kind of keeps going. Like it doesn't really have clear progression other than to like, we're in this location now and also the bad guys here.
Well, and everything's so twisty. There's so many Twizzlers twists in this, right? Like, yeah. Is this guy the bad guy or is this guy? And like, you know, right when Patrick Stewart comes on, I'm like, he's the bad guy because he's a man. But like, obviously, like
he's in four scenes of this entire movie.
But I mean, he seems to be having fun in all four.
Yeah, good for him.
He is probably the character who's drawn most up in the plot, so I think that really does hurt him. But hey, he's Patrick Stewart. I'm gonna like him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when he comes out in that outfit. When they're going to headquarters for the first time.
Sexy daddy's
Patrick Stewart right there.
And I feel like that's one of the problems with this is that there's just not enough natural charisma in these characters to like carry over the scenes. Like Kristen Stewart, I think, has enough that I will enjoy watching her.
I mean, she's playing the fun character.
Yeah.
And she's doing it pretty well for the most part. I think everybody's like competent. Elizabeth Banks aside, but there's nothing between them all.
I think those action scenes may be more fun if Jane was played by a character or an actor who had a little bit more charisma to her. Although part of that's also because, you know, they do have nothing to do. So maybe you're right. Maybe even if we had the best actresses in the film industry right now, it wouldn't be good, right? Like,
well, I don't think the original is good. I keep calling it the original. I'm going to refer to the 2001 movie as the original, even though I know it's not. That movie was sold entirely on star power. Like, all three of them were coming off of really big movies.
Well, but back then, star power sold. The star power doesn't really sell nowadays.
I mean, star power doesn't I don't think it sells as much as it used to. But this movie would have made more than $3 million, I think, if it...
I don't know. I think what people...
None of these names are, recognizable enough to get, to get butts in seats, I think.
No, but you look at the movies that do make a lot of money. Most superhero movies, the actors are stars because they're in those superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Chris Evans had a lot of roles before then, but he wasn't a star before Captain America, right? Chris Hemsworth was not anyone before Thor came out. You don't have... I think Dwayne Johnson's probably the last true person who they sell movies on this person.
Based solely on it is right? It is Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I think they try with Will Smith, but I think people are progressively seeing that doesn't really work. So I don't think that necessarily would do it. And that's why I'm trying to say charisma over star power. You just need people who have a little bit more effortless entertainment quality to them, and I don't really think this cast carries that.
I'm not trying to knock any of these actors. I think they did fine. But when you're selling an IP like Charlie's Angels, and you have frankly C-listers really, as the main cast.
Yeah, I mean, what's Jane's actress's name?
Ella Balinska.
Yeah, she has been in nothing before this, so yeah, I think that's fair.
Naomi Scott is getting roles. She's not really a name yet. Oh, Sam Claflin, his scream.
Oh yeah, Sam Claflin plays not the bad guy. He's a bad guy. He's incidental to the movie in a large part.
He's the big corporation boss that doesn't play a part at all.
But he has these noises he makes, which are delightful.
We have Tattoo Man who doesn't talk.
Yeah, he's boring. This is why the old one succeeded. It had Crispin Glover in the weird role that didn't talk.
We have Patrick Stewart being photoshopped into multiple hairdos and mustaches.
For some reason, my mind just went to Patrick Warburton for some reason. And I was like, wait, who do you think looks like Patrick Warburton? No, we do see.
There's a lot of fun in this movie. Like it's not trying to be too serious until it is.
Well, and I don't even think it's ever trying to be that serious. Okay, we've been dancing on eggshells around this. This is a movie that's all about like
feminism.
No, this does not deserve to be called feminism.
It wants to be about feminism.
This is Saturday morning cartoon girl power.
Yeah.
Right? Like in every scene, it may not advance the plot, it may not advance the characters, but it does advance this idea of like girl power, but like it never defines what girl power is. And also, it's never confident enough in that concept that just lets girl power be, powerful women. They always have to justify why they're there.
Yeah.
If we have been kind of trying to find the central thesis of this episode, it is that this is a lot of fun. It does not work as a movie, but it's also kind of hard to talk about because we don't want to be the two guys who are just bashing this for being a girl power movie.
It's so easy, though. Like, I'm fine with girl power movies. This is just stupid, though.
Oh yeah,
there was a trailer. Yeah. There was a trailer for Little Women before this, and it actually was like a good trailer. I thought it actually looked interesting, but I made the comment about but this is entirely around Little Women's plot too. It's like these girl power movies can be fun if they weren't stuck in like the 2005 mindset of we can do anything because we have to prove it.
Man, I don't think we should be talking about this.
It's the Justice League episode all over again.
Oh gosh. Yeah, me and Joe used to do a Justice League show where we reviewed episodes of the Justice League thing, and there was a girl power episode on there, and we just the whole time we were
dancing around.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you instantly undercut it when you feel like you have to justify it. Because you feel like you are catering, the audience you are catering to is a like male chauvinistic audience. And I feel like that's kind of here too, less so than in like the 2000s movies, but there's still a lot of, we're going to do kind of like some male gazy stuff with the camera, and we are going to focus a lot on Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart's going to like slap her butt with a riding crop.
And like, sure, it's cheeky and it's fun, and girls can enjoy that too. And like, we should not be talking about this, but the movie is so obsessed with it, and I feel like it does not do it intelligently enough.
No.
It feels like it is so self-conscious, and like
it was Elizabeth Banks' turn to have a good movie.
That doesn't help either. There's a lot of just terrible discourse on the internet. The get woke, go broke kind of thing, right? Like, man, you can't have 3 strong female leads in a Terminator movie. That's terrible.
That movie did it better. They never drew attention to it.
But here's the thing. I think you can draw attention to it and it'd be fine, right? Like Ocean's 8 is a good movie. I think it's very comparable. It's a very girl power movie too, right? And they do draw attention to it, and they do make some effort to talk about. But you know what its focus is? Its focus is a heist.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a heist movie.
Not just girls, like girls doing cool things.
Even Captain Marvel, which I think has its problems rooted very much in the Marvel formula. You know what it is? First and foremost, a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's not the most amazing superhero movie, but it's serviceable. This is a movie that I don't think really ever fully embraces its spy nature because it's constantly self-conscious.
Yeah. So hot trash or not?
Oh, this is definitely hot trash.
The hottest of trash.
We have ragged on this so much, but I feel like we need to explain how much of trash.
Me and Caleb had smiles on our face, except for the second act.
The thing is, we can take delight in the terrible effects, the terrible editing,
the terrible dialogue,
just the
terrible
dialogue.
Actions.
Kristen Stewart just clearly trying to make the best out of nothing, and like we can have so much fun with that, and we did.
All these random guys that get introduced and just go away. Ralph,
the ridiculous, Ralph, the security guard Nazi, the minigun that this dude is like one hand wheeling.
Pops out of his hood.
Like, sure, I've seen that in other action movies, but I've never seen someone just like one hand on the wheel, one hand on the minigun. And then, of course, my favorite part when they get to Sam Claflin's house, and it's just deer head
dance sequence.
Yes, there's a dance sequence in this that lasts for about 30 seconds. Comes out of nowhere, serves no like point to the.
Well, no, they're like getting there to rescue Naomi Scott.
Yeah, but like
gotta dance first.
But they don't need to. I'm just convinced that like those two characters wanted to dance and they just weren't prioritizing their friend. But you get to this house and literally the decor is neon
deer
lights
heads.
and deer heads. This person must have killed so many bucks. Not just deers. Like, these had to be like 12-point bucks. He must have killed so many adult Bambis to get this house. Wherever this house is, I don't remember. That country no longer has deers. It is ridiculous. And then they have the audacity to kill one of the bad guys by impaling him on something. And that something is not a deer horn.
The audacity.
This movie is great.
Oh. And then they like end it. It cuts to credits right after the final act. There's no like conclusion or wrap up during the actual movie. It's during the after credits that the wrap up happens. Ella Balinska's character starts flirting with a guy who showed up earlier, and it just ends.
Yeah, thank goodness. But then it kept going, so like not really.
And then it turns out Charlie is a girl.
Oh yeah,
which is a weird rewrite of history.
Yeah, but who cares? It's Charlie's.
Oh yeah, I don't have any attachment to this IP, but I kind of thought it was always interesting how it's like this guy who's he's trying to build up women and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a very progressive thing. Again, no attachment to this IP.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want with it.
You read it as progressive. I read it as in the 70s, they still needed a guy in charge, right? So
yeah,
who knows? But you don't know who Charlie is at the end of this. You just see that is a woman. But like, who are you building up for the sequel that will never happen?
It's Meryl Streep.
It could be Meryl Streep or Glenn Close or, anyone, as long as it's not Elizabeth Banks again.
Elizabeth Banks is Bosley, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And Charlie.
Also, this has the great rom-com trope of the gay best friend.
Oh my God.
This guy is like all of the Queer Eye guys rolled into one.
The stereotype is being pushed.
You have 3 women in this. You're trying to build up all women. Why are they all straight?
Kristen Stewart's like, meh, maybe.
Well, it's just because she doesn't directly flirt with anyone. That's not a big thing. It's just... I found this one very, very explicit gay stereotype to be...
He was fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fine because all he had to do was sit around and talk about...
Herbal remedies.
I'm going to get you this quinoa dish.
I love this movie.
We have not hit a hot trash movie quite the likes of this.
Quite as trashy.
This might be the first time I've called a movie hot trash on this.
I think it is.
And you called it like about 15 minutes in.
15 minutes in. I was like, I think I might be early, but I think we hit hot trash.
And I was a little bit worried when that second act finale happened. But you know what?
It jumped right back into it.
That dance scene, all the deer antlers.
The dancing.
It's great. All right, so
what's next? Should I look real quick? Or are we finally going to hit Dr. Sleep?
I don't know.
There's been so much badness coming out that's like leaving theaters so quickly.
Oh yeah, and this will be among
This will be gone in 2 weeks.
Every movie we have reviewed since Angel Has Fallen has bombed.
Yeah.
It has been wild. I wanted to review Arctic Dogs, and it's left
gone.
Theaters.
It's gone from theaters already.
I think until maybe Cats, we won't reach hot trash peak like this.
The likes of which has never been seen before. I think Dr. Sleep's next.
Go support Mike Flanagan, the director who I simultaneously love and hate. We'll get into my relationship with Mike Flanagan next time.